Swallowed Star 537 80 Years Later Na Ku. Chapter 537 80 Years Later Na Ku. In the dark night, the Masha clansmen left Mengna City without a trace, returning to the automaton ship in the sky. Within the control room, Luo Feng sat in the sofa. His expression was cold as he said softly, "Depart towards Swallow Mound City." The automaton ship immediately accelerated and headed towards Swallow Mound City. "What's up, Luo Feng?" The demon Babata too sat in the sofa. Around 50 years ago, the Yu Dao sect was destroyed. Luo Feng frowned. The elite strength was simply wiped out and the entire sect was destroyed. And it was actually the earliest disciple of the sect that did it. About 30 years ago, a silver-haired spirit reader appeared and killed that culprit before leaving. "What about little Na Ku?" Demon Babata asked. "According to what the two guards told me, I suspect that silver-haired spirit reader was Na Ku." Luo Feng said. "Back then, I left him spirit reader training methods. If my guess isn't wrong, Na Ku would very likely have headed towards Swallow Mound City." Demon Babata nodded. So, the automaton ship was swiftly flying in the space above the Blood River world. One day later, it reached the space above the Swallow Mound territory. Following the same procedure, he left his core in his earth body in the automaton ship. The Masha clansmen dived through the cloud levels and headed towards Swallow Mound City. Nighttime, the cold winds howled, and in a forest 10 million kilometers outside Swallow Mound City, within a particular cave. Crackle! The fire crackled, giving the entire cave warmth. "Father." A tall silver-haired youth laid a mat on the ground. Some food appeared in his hand. "Let's eat." "We fled so far in one go, and we are at least 10 million km away from Swallow Mound City. And we never entered the city, remaining in the wilderness. Searching pointlessly for us won't be an easy task for them." An old-looking middle-aged man with messy silver hair nodded, lifting his fruit juice and taking the food off the mat, eating as he smiled at the youth. His eyes were filled with pride and glee, exclaiming, "Cuckoo, you are much more mature than before. For me to see you before I die, the heavens are treating me well. Speak, tell me how you suddenly vanished back then. I looked for you everywhere like a madman." "Father." The silver-haired youth shook his head. "This is how it all happened." Na Ku began to tell him in detail of what happened back then. Nabu listened with his eyes opened wide. I actually agreed for you to follow Lord Feng, and had him wipe my memories." Nabu was shocked, after which he smiled. I would indeed do that. Tell me, over these many years, looking at you, you seem to have suffered quite a bit. The aboriginals of Blood River World were born ground level, star traveler, and in the vast surroundings, it had resulted in many special bloodlines in the world. The Na family, the bloodline was special too. After maturing, their hair would turn silver. "It's like this, back then when Big Brother Feng took me." The silver-haired youth said indifferently. "That night I fled Mengna City, I vowed to take revenge for my teacher. I bumped into another teacher at Tonglian Mountain. I then separated from my two brothers and headed to Swallow Mound City alone. Arriving here, I controlled my bones and muscles to change my appearance. Plus, many of the warriors from back then couldn't recognize me. Since I'm a cloud level right now with a scan, I discovered the family was destroyed, but you were still alive. I knew that it was a trap. Hence, I first entered the city leader's mansion to become a general, after half a year." Na Ku spoke for more than an hour before finally finishing his 80-year story. Nabu looked at the youth before him, seemingly in disbelief. This cautious, cunning, and brutal youth was the same idol-worshipping, hot-blooded, silly little Na Ku. His son had indeed experienced quite a lot. Mengna City, Tonglian Mountain, Flame Eye Clan. Every bit of Na Ku's experiences, every life or death struggle, had completely trained him. "You've grown up," Nabu exclaimed softly. "The one I am most grateful for is Big Brother Feng." The silver-haired youth smiled. He had prepared so much for me, and because of that, I was able to withstand each and every setback and stand back up, finally reaching cloud level. However, cloud level isn't my final goal. My goal is to reach the domain level and even the world level. Nabu nodded, pleased. His gamble back then was right. Within Swallow Mound City, city leader's mansion. You are saying you can't find him? The purple-clothed lady stood in the hall, coldly staring at the city leader Puyongwen before her. Puyongwen bowed slightly in fear. Yes, the subordinates, they. Explain. The purple-clothed seductive lady's eyes gleamed. It's the subordinates' mistake. I've already sent a 1,000,000-strong army to go search. Puyongwen's head was filled with sweat, because he was only a low-level domain level, while this lady before him was a high-level domain level, and she was also the world leader Si Yong's favorite disciple. She could easily destroy him, and the only thing he was supposed to do was to keep an eye on Nabu. But since he messed that up, how could he not be fearful? Idiot. Useless. The purple-clothed lady smiled coldly. 1,000,000-strong army? You said before that it was a problem with your general. That general was a cloud-level spirit reader. How fast is his flying speed? In just a breath, he can fly 10 million kilometers without a problem. Which direction should your 1,000,000-strong army fly in to search? Are you stupid? Puyongwen was stunned. Get out, get out, get out. The lady raged. Yes. Puyongwen retreated. He waited till he exited the building, his face originally filled with fear, but suddenly his eyes gleamed with dissatisfaction. Right, I am an idiot. If I weren't one before, why did you support me to becoming the city leader back then? Just wait, once my master gives the order, we'll see who's the real idiot is.
Within the hall, the seductive lady glanced at Puyongwen, shaking her head and smiling coldly. So useless, luckily back then I didn't place any hopes on that idiot. The lady flipped her hand and a communication device appeared. A screen with a map displayed and there was a light dot on it. The lady smiled immediately. Who would stupidly keep an eye on him? Back then I doped him and put a chip into his already heavily injured body. Won't I always know his position then? The communication device, compared to the universe ship's construction, was trillions of times easier to make. Those sector lords had given these devices to their important underlings. The purple-clothed lady, as the right and left-hand woman of world leader Si Yong, acquiring these communication devices was very easy. The distance is really 10 million kilometers. The lady smiled. I'm in no rush to catch them. I'll first observe. I am sure that silver-haired man will bring Nabu to go see that mysterious warrior Feng. The silver-haired seductive lady immediately sent a message to her teacher Si Yong, following which she flew out of the mansion alone, rushing into the sky in the night, headed towards Nabu and Naku. She is the strongest within Swallow Mound City. The activation of the Swallow Mound army, according to the investigation, is to look for Nabu and the silver-haired general. That silver-haired spirit reader general should be Naku. And that lady, flying out so late at night, she should know their location. A black silhouette followed the purple-haired lady from behind. Over 10 million kilometers, even if the purple-haired lady was a domain lord level 8 warrior, with Blood River World's strong gravity, she could only reach up to 1,000 kilometers per second. Even then, it would still take over 3 hours for her to arrive at the forest. I'll not alert him first. Teacher will be here soon, then we'll take the chance to catch Feng. That mysterious Feng, he actually dared to kill my 2 seniors and the undying shrine envoys. He deserves to die. The purple-haired lady stood on a branch of a 3 m thick huge tree, staring coldly into the distance, and completely hiding her presence. Domain lords were indeed proficient in hiding their presence. At this time from behind her a black-clothed man stood. The purple-clothed lady seemed to realize something and looked back suspiciously. When she saw the black-robed Luo Feng in mid-air behind, her expression changed. Black-clothed, black short hair. Youth? You are Feng? The lady's expression was serious, staring hard at the black-robed man. Looking for me? Congratulations, you found me. The black-clothed Luo Feng nodded. Xiu! Her eyes flashed and immediately unleashed a spirit attack, simultaneously using a spirit weapon to attack. Weng! A beautiful flash of a blade. Its resplendence was intoxicating. The purple-clothed lady couldn't help but get shocked, following which her consciousness fell deep into darkness. The flash disappeared and Luo Feng kept his blood shadow blade back into his storage ring and grabbed the lady's neck. She had a small wound on her stomach. The blade went through the wound and pierced right through her life core, causing her death. In terms of power, after 80 years of training, his internal world had swallowed the large amounts of prepared valuable metals, efficiency rising to 52 times. 80 years was akin to over 4,000 years, and the Domain Lord level evolution 789 required 1,200 years, Domain Lord level 1 to Sector Lord level 1, required about 5,000 years. Currently, the Golden Horned Beast and Masha Clansman were both Domain level 9. And in terms of power, not level, they were absurdly powerful. With the Masha Clansman able to unleash 10 times its original power, it was terrifying. Who is it? In the cave, the silver-haired Naka's expression changed, standing at the entrance of the cave. It's me. The black-clothed Luo Feng walked over from mid-air, carrying the body of the purple-clothed lady. Feng, big brother Feng. The silver-haired Naka stared wide-eyed. Feng, Lord Feng. Nabu was very shocked too. The silver-haired youth looked at the body Luo Feng held, even more shocked. This is the third disciple of world leader Si Yong Shi. Black-clothed Luo Feng threw her body to the ground and said, "You are in danger now, the world leader Si Yong is rushing over."